Hey guys, I'm going to bring some more stuff over to public storage so I can bring some more of my sets inside, including that Admiral 3815 that's still out in the garage. In particular today I'm going to bring over some of my Art Deco nightstands. Before I was collecting radios, before I collected TVs, I was collecting Art Deco furniture. In particular, I picked up 4 Art Deco nightstands. Not the whole bedroom sets, just the nightstands. And I'm not alone. This is back in the 2000s, and there's some pretty serious collectors out there, it seemed like, so I had to fight pretty hard to get some of these. But this is not one of them. It looks kind of cool. It has a lot of the classic Art Deco features, what they call the waterfall design. It's got some interesting veneers and so on. But this is the cheapest, crappiest piece of furniture I've ever picked up. At least it's supposed to be vintage. And I think it is vintage. In fact, I think I saw the entire bedroom set that matched this design a while back. However, check out this construction. Alright, first off, these knobs are off center. So here's the center of the veneer where they bookended it so each side would match. And that knob is way off. 2, whatever they made these knobs out of, is pretty cheap. It's not Bakelite, it's some kind of swirled plastic. Which did make me think this might be some kind of knockoff, but I don't know how much of a market there is for reproduction Art Deco stuff like this. So I think it is original, it's just low end. I've seen this pattern on plenty of Deco furniture too, but it's very thin veneer and it's got some chips out of it. This, also off center, and this is really nothing special. I think it's just quarter cut walnuts, no interesting figured veneer. No knots or anything like that. I'm not sure what the secondary wood is, but seems alright. Inside, just simple couple like piano hinges and a latch over here. Feet have more of that same veneer design. It's got like little sort of deco-y version of lions. Feet at the bottom there. But what's really so appalling in this set is drawers. You may have seen like an Antiques Roadshow and other shows when they want to appraise the quality of furniture, they pull a drawer out and they look for dovetail joints. Well, this has dovetails to an extent, but they're really, really poorly made. And the bottom on this, check this out. Not exactly quality construction. Nice big split out of the side there, so nothing fits quite right. This bottom isn't even securely attached. None of the joints are tight, none of the joints fit that well. So, anyway, I got like this for 20 bucks or something like that. That one's going to go into storage. I was using that for a printer stand, and it's flanked by a couple other Admiral sets. So I figured this go into storage. Bring that Admiral set out of the garage, put it right here, put my printer on top of it. Now, contrasting that is this one, which is, I think, my favorite out of all the ones I got. This one was a steal too at 20 bucks. Well, the other one maybe 20 bucks was a fair price. This was a steal at 20. I was the only bidder. I think the reason was it was just listed as a small cherry table. And it looked like hell. The finish looked almost black. And in fact, when I got it, my father commented that, oh, that's one of those tables that has a leather top on it. No, that wasn't leather. That was like 1/8 of an inch of goo and crud and wax and oil and dirt just built up over the years. Well, imagine my surprise when I started cleaning it off when I found out that it had this fantastic veneer underneath it. Oh no. Well, get this radio off. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I didn't do the greatest job refinishing this. This is one of the first things I ever did refinish, in fact. And all I did was remove the old finish, use a little bit of cherry stain, and then some tung oil. I think it needs a little bit heavier toner with a little bit more color to it, especially on these sides. But other than that, nothing that can't be easily reversed. And the original finish was completely gone and trashed anyway, so something had to be done. So the reason I say this is higher quality is, 1, the quality of the veneer, much better. 2, the detail they put into it. So we have this nice bookend striped veneer, curved around the front, and then it transfers right to the door front flawlessly. Stripes, stripes, and then even down to this little shelf here underneath the drawer. Stripes, and then they transfer right to this. The door on this is some awesome like flame mahogany. Again, bookend, but this time in the vertical plane, so this is a mirror of that. Some nice solid copper hardware, Bakelite trim behind it, and it's a curved door. And just all throughout the whole piece. Nice quality construction. One of the feet is loose. That actually happened when I got it. It needs to be re-glued. I got this years ago, and this needs a little bit more attention. That's for the drawer. Now, as for the drawer on this one, I think you'll see a significant difference. First off, a nice pull, Bakelite, solid brass. Inside, you see that veneer carries all the way under. We got nice rails, one down the center and two on either side. And the drawer itself, really well made. Nice dovetails all around. And look at that bottom. The bottom on the other one was just a thin piece of wood that was flopping around. This, we got glue blocks all over. We got this center runner here, I think out of oak. And just in general, I mean, that is one solid drawer there for just a little bedroom nightstand drawer. That is a substantial piece of woodwork there. So I figured I'd put this one in storage as well. Alright, moving on. This is the only nightstand that I'm actually using as a nightstand. This one was refinished. Got this off the West Coast. And I'm pretty sure this glass top is not original. The corners just aren't cut very well, and it just doesn't seem like it's all that old. On top of it, my favorite lamp. Pretty sure this is genuine vintage cast bronze, I think. And it's got what they call brain amber shade. Brain because it's, kind of patterned like a brain. So it's a nifty little light there. This is a reproduction West Clock moonbeam. And I'm not particularly happy with it. I got this recently from LL Bean. There is an older reproduction made by Sultan maybe 15 years ago. If you can find one of those, I like them a lot better. Not that they work any better, but it looks better. I have some original moonbeam clocks from the 50s, and the Sultan is a perfect match, dimension-wise, and it's pretty good quality too. This, they got it wrong. Brass on the bottom, it's not quite the right color, it's not the right thickness. The clock overall is much taller than it should be, so the proportions are out of whack. They added this snooze button on top, which is alright, but you have to print in huge black letters snooze, so for everybody to see. And just in general, it's for what they're charging for it, it's just not that well made. Now, nothing wrong with the originals either, but I've picked up three of them with the hopes of making one reliable working one, and I just haven't had much luck. I got the clocks to run all right, but the alarms just don't work reliably enough, so that's why I went with the reproduction, because some mornings I really need that alarm to wake me up. Now, as far as a nightstand, I think it's like some kind of flame mahogany veneer, but it's been stripped and coated in polyurethane, like a semi-gloss polyurethane, so not much point in trying to refinish that. Also on this side, there was some kind of water damage veneer separation, and it was like glued down crudely and then just covered over with polyurethane, so it's just kind of like sealed in plastic now, so I'll just let it go. But the construction quality is quite good. I like the base here. It's like this leaf foot that curves around. Nice brass pull on the door here and then the drawer, just like the last one. Rather well made, dovetails all around, and it's got the same kind of glue blocks on the bottom and runner down the middle. I saved the best one for last. This is the only one that actually has a manufacturer's label inside of it, and it's the highest quality. Just like the second one, it's got this awesome angled veneer, curves down, matches right into through the drawer, and it's got this nifty striped veneer and some kind of flame type veneer on the door. Nice brass hardware, Bakelite inserts, and really high quality construction throughout too. So there's the label, Tribond 3 Furnitures. Don't know if that's the shop that sold it or the company that made it. So dovetails around again. It's got the bracing below with the runner for the drawer. The runner's inside as well. Nice hinges, nice door action, nice latch on it. More of that stripe veneer down here. And this nice molding around the sides. I think this one will go into storage as well, because I'm kind of running out of room to put it. So overall my plan lately has been put my furniture into storage and use my TVs and radios as furniture, which makes sense in a couple cases because I actually have a couple what do you call them, like side table radios, like the Philco and Stromberg Carlson 231, which are designed to act as tables. So I've got one of those at either end of my couch now. Alright, so I'm going to load these up into my car and then get that Admiral up in here and we can finally test that picture tube. I managed to get the Admiral up inside on my own. These sets actually are fairly manageable if you take the chassis out. So we've got the upper chassis, the lower chassis, and the cabinet. With those two chassis out of the cabinet doesn't weigh much of anything at all, maybe like 30 pounds. Alright, so someone had asked about testing the CRT, so here we go. Got it all hooked up to my Suncor. Let's power this guy up. Set the filament up to 6.3 volts, and I'm glancing over at the CRT and I can see right away it's lit up underneath all this disgusting filth. Let's see, looking for a logo or something. All I can see is a made in the USA. I don't see a brand anywhere, so I'm not sure if it's the original or not. Alright, no shorts, so far so good. We still got vacuum, we've got a good filament, or at least we have filament continuity. Cut off, no response whatsoever yet. But we do have some emissions, so as I've said so many times before, we will let this cook for a while and get back to it. In the meantime, let's take a closer look at the cabinet. Some of you had commented, "Oh, it doesn't look so bad. It's restorable." Well, you haven't seen it as in depth and as in detail as I have. So I'm going to turn this cabinet upside down and show you what the bottom of it looks like. Now, in general, it's not that bad. I used some decent hardwood. It's still in good shape. But what's really bad is that this side, the lower 6 inches or so, definitely got damp. These feet, I've got some serious rot issues going on here. Long ago, I suspect, because it's, it's not punky or anything anymore. And the guy had this set in his bedroom for quite some time, so I don't think there's any critters or anything left in this set. But there's definitely some wood loss here. And we've got some plywood separation, we've got some veneer separation, we've got some veneer loss. So this whole side, it's a little ugly. Sure, I can shoot some glue in there, I can clamp it up, I can make it more respectable, but there's definitely going to be some veneer patching going on here. I may even want to redo the entire side. We'll see. It's not as bad as my other Admiral, though, my 3814 I did a video on quite some time ago. That cabinet, I want to re-veneer the entire thing, both sides and the top. It's so bad. Yeah, I guess otherwise, it's not that bad. And since I've been moving it around, a lot of the crud that was inside it has fallen away. Might have some mildew issues here too. Maybe I should put some bleach on that to completely kill it off. If the label gets ruined, no big deal. I've got a few other examples and other sets I could print out a reproduction if need be. Before I bring this set inside, I want to do a little bit of restoration on this cabinet. Especially because it's going to be unusually warm this weekend, up into the low 60s. Not bad for early December. So one thing I want to do is soak both these feet and maybe this surface with this stuff. I use this on my Grinnell cabinet and my Emerson 639 TV. Both those sets also had similar water and mildew damage. This stuff will soak very readily right into the wood, and it dries and makes the wood rock hard. Really cool stuff. And once that's set up, I can follow it by this, which is what I use at my Philco 38.7 chairside to fill in some lost wood. So once I get this hard and stabilized, I can use a filler to get this back up to where it used to be and get it to be a level, stable, hard surface. Then I'll bring it inside. Also might do a little gluing and clamping on this as well. Now back to the CRT. Oh yes, the emissions have risen quite a bit. And I did not increase the filament voltage. This is still just on at 6.3, so that's really cool. But do we have cutoff control? No, we do not. Drop this down a range. And now we do have grid cutoff. I've seen this on quite a few CRTs. It's not a great sign. I mean, it should certainly have cutoff control on the proper bias range. But I've also seen in sets that it's still usable. I can still get a picture on it, because if you adjust the contrast and brightness on these, they generally have enough range that you can, kind of push a CRT that's worn out a bit into the operational range so you can get a watchable picture. I imagine the life test is pretty stinky though. Yeah, not so good. Well, it's only been about 10-15 minutes though, so I'll let this sit a while longer and come back to it and see if we can get some cutoff control in the proper minus 52 range. Alright, it's been about an hour now and the emissions have crept up a bit more. However, there is still no cutoff control on the minus 52 range. And we do have decent cutoff on the minus 36. And life test. Fair. So, what I expect is that the contrast won't be so great, but we'll get a watchable image, and who knows how long it'll last. Which is all I can ask for in a set of this vintage. 10 BP4s don't grow on trees, so I'm happy that it's as good as it is. Not surprisingly, to most of you, I imagine, is that, sure, I will attempt to restore this set, but I gotta say, this is the nastiest chassis I've come across to date. Not so much because of the rust here and there, but because of the animal activity. There's still some nutshells in there and droppings and God knows what else. So it's gonna be fun to find out what cleaning products work best on that. Now, one last thing about the cabinet. I will end up refinishing this. I really don't have any choice. I mean, most of the finish is gone and then I have to do all those repairs. But what I wanted to mention is the decals. Those of you who frequent the Antique Radio Forum may have noticed that there was a little project going on between myself, Phil Nelson, and forum member Noisebox to have a set of reproduction decals made by an outfit called Solid Design. So Phil and I both took some reference photos of sets we have that still have some intact decals. Noisebox cleaned them up in Photoshop. We sent them off to Solid Design, did a few iterations to get the dimensions and the fonts just right. And here we are. I've got 8 sets for myself. I've got for sure 3, maybe 4 sets to do, and I wanted to make sure I had some extras because I inevitably will make a few mistakes. It cost a few bucks, but to be honest, considering the quality of the decals, and it's not like you can just go get these anywhere, so I'm very happy with the way this project turned out. So we've got the decals for the 4 controls, the logo, and then the channels 2 through 13 around the outside. Now, we still have the proof, or Phil Nelson does, so if anybody else would like to have a set of decals made, contact myself or Phil, and we can work something out, I'm sure, to have some more decals run off. Because once we've got the proof, then we can run these off anytime we want, as long as Solid Design is still in business. Alright, so that's going to be it for now. I have no idea when I might get to this, but I do know that I now have 4 Admirals with the same chassis, and I'm really anxious to get at least one of them working, because I've never seen one of these sets running. As many Admirals as I may have, none of my 30A1 chassis Admirals are functional. But before that, I got to finish the bug eyes and finish the predictors and yada yada yada, so maybe sometime in the new year I'll get around to these. That's all for now.